Welcome back to Brandon Sports here, everybody. Hope you have an amazing day. I'm here to give you guys my SmackDown review for March 27th, 2026. Before we get into the review, guys, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more great content headed your way. Before we get into the actual show tonight, I just want to give you guys my overall thoughts and opinions about how bad this show was tonight. Tonight's show was abysmal. Tonight's show was an embarrassment to professional wrestling. Tonight's show was so awful that WrestleMania season can't save it, and we are 22 days away from WrestleMania. This show is so bad that everybody backstage who is writing this show should be fired, and I don't want anybody to lose their jobs, especially in this economy, but just overall period, I don't want anybody losing their jobs. However, tonight is the night. I am frustrated beyond reproach. This show is an embarrassment to all the people who were on this show for years and who've paved the way in this business. They do not care about professional wrestling, and when I say they, I mean TKO, who have brought this company. That's a subject for another day, but the one thing I will say about TKO is that they are allegedly in debt and they're using WWE to pay off their debt. Allegedly again. TKO does not care about the wrestling business. Netflix does not care about the wrestling business. ESPN doesn't care about the wrestling business. And USA Network, the fact that we have to put up with this, they don't care about the wrestling business either. They just want to make money. This show was appalling. The creative process and everything that they did tonight was embarrassing. And I can't begin to describe to you how frustrating it is as a person who loves professional wrestling and who loves this business about how bad this show was tonight. An awful show. Having said all of that, tonight's SmackDown was live from the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tonight, we saw Cody Rhodes return. We seen Randy Orton make his appearance. We see Nick Aldis will address Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. We see Giulia versus Kit Wilson. We see Giulia versus Tiffany Stratton, which was supposed to be for Women's United States Championship. That was taken off, and now it's going to be a non-title matchup. But then we see Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus the Bella Twins. The announcers welcome us into SmackDown tonight and remind everyone that WrestleMania 42 is just 22 days away. The Bella Twins are shown arriving at the arena. Charlotte Flair and Bliss are seen backstage walking through the hallway. Giulia is shown backstage as well. Tiffany Stratton outside near a production truck. Kit Wilson is shown reading poetry while Giulia is seen taking a time to basically greet her fan backstage and look at trophies, whether it was his son or not. I truly do not care. He was backstage looking at some trophies and that was it. Who cares? A replay is shown from last week, Randy Orton attacking Matt Cardona. I told you guys, I'll get to that later on when it needs to be there, but I told you guys that nobody's going to care about this, and I was right, nobody did. So Randy Orton's theme hits, and he makes his way down to the ring, even though as a heel, the fans are still singing along to his entrance music. Randy Orton says that 2 weeks ago, he stood in the ring next to Cody Rhodes, and Cody looked him in the eyes and told him he needed to be the best version of Randy Orton. Cody then told him to be the Viper again and to listen to the voices in his head. Randy says he cut those voices out a long time ago, but over the past few years, he has been thinking a lot about number 15 and his legacy he will leave behind when he's gone. Then, out of nowhere, Cody gave him his blessing. Now that he's listened to those voices again, Randy says he needs to warn everybody that he cannot be responsible for what happens next. He says the voices in his head aren't the problem, it's the voices outside of his head that are the real issue. He adds that there is one person he's listening to now, just one voice, basically outside of his head. Matt Cardona suddenly interrupts. Why? I don't know. Why is he a part of this feud? I don't know. Randy asks Matt if he wants him to break his other arm. By the way, Matt Cardona, into the WWE, if you're going to break somebody's arm, even if it's wrapped up, he's out there walking to the ring with his arms basically swinging back and forth as if one of his arms is not supposed to be broken. He's supposed to be holding and nursing the arm. So good job selling us on that Randy Orton broke his arm. Even if it was wrapped up, he was still out there basically using the arm at the beginning of the show. There's more I'm going to get to when it comes to this idiotic stupidness that we're getting tonight, because I'm just getting started. He comes out walking with the microphone and both his arms are just moving. What are we doing? Anyway, he interrupts him. He says, you want to break your other arm. Matt responds by hitting Randy with the microphone in his face, sending him to the floor, and makes it clear that he wants a piece of Randy Orton. I didn't care nothing about Mark Cardona coming out here. I told you guys. I'm not the person to tell you I told you so, but tonight I will. I told you that they were going to give this guy nothing. I told you that when he came here, they was going to give him nothing. Don't say, oh, well, he's a part of Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes storyline. No, this is nothing. They're basically burying this dude. I told you guys that when he comes back to his company, they'll give him a U.S. title run towards the end of this year. He'll probably get one. And then other than that, they won't use him. And now they want us to care about Matt Cardona after he's been on the show for a while now. And They made us not care about him when he was backstage doing segments with Kit Wilson and Apollo Crews, and you want me to care about Matt Cardona after you brought him back and made sure that we did not care about him. And this is the way that you book him, but now you want us to feel bad for him when Randy Orton steps on his arm when you guys weren't booking him correctly. Absolutely not. Did I feel sorry for Matt Cardona? No, I did not. The same stuff every week. You're putting a guy out there, oh, he's supposed to be Cody Rhodes' friend. We don't care about Cody Rhodes having a friend or not. You're trying to gain sympathy on a guy who's being booed in Cody Rhodes, and you're trying to put sympathy on a guy in Matt Cardona who you didn't push right. Don't blame the fans when he comes out and he gets no reaction. You did this. You booked him to be backstage with Apollo Crews and do absolutely nothing. And now when he comes out, he gets no reaction and no pop, no booing, no nothing. He gets nothing. Why? Because you guys don't know how to do your jobs and book creatively and book the right way. We get backstage after watching that monstrosity. Nick Aldis is shown when Trick Williams walks in. Trick tells Nick go ahead and say what he has to say. Nick then tells Trick that he's been impressed with him, and he says Trick has become a major player. He then announced that Trick will have a match at WrestleMania. This is a very, very good thing so far until the next thing I'm about to say. Trick Williams celebrates, says he needs to call somebody, saying that he needs to call his mama, he needs to call Lash, and Lil Yachty. You know Lil Yachty's my boy. That's what Trick Williams says. After that, Sami Zayn walks into boos in the background. Everybody's booing him, and so was I. Even though I don't cheer or boo anything when wrestling's on, but I was booing this. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. So Sami Zayn walks in and ruins this segment as usual, and Trick tells him he's going to WrestleMania. Sami congratulates Trick, but asks Nick Aldis what it means for him at WrestleMania, because we always have to have Sami Zayn be in a WrestleMania spot. Sami Zayn just always has to be on WrestleMania. He always has to be on WrestleMania because everything revolves around Sami Zayn. This ain't personal, it's business. I'm talking about storyline here. Sami Zayn is not an underdog. I keep saying this every SmackDown review that I'm on. Sami Zayn is not an underdog anymore. He's literally won every single championship in this company except for the 2 world titles. He main evented WrestleMania. Lord have mercy. This entire night was just frustrating television to watch. Nick then tells Sami Zayn that things haven't been going his way lately and that championships needs to be defended. He adds that unless things change, Sami doesn't currently have a WrestleMania spot. And I had my thumbs up. This is very, very good by Nick Aldis, telling him that he doesn't have a WrestleMania spot. But after what I read earlier today, I already knew what was going to happen. And we'll get there when we get there. Trick then mocks Sami Zayn and tells him better luck next year, saying he'll see him soon. As Trick keeps talking loudly to Nick Aldis, Sami Zayn suddenly punches Trick and declares that he will have a match at WrestleMania. He's basically laughing all, freaked out and whatever case it be. I didn't believe none of this. I don't care anything about Sami Zayn. I told you guys it is over for Sami Zayn. We are tired of this, we have to feel bad about Sami Zayn and he's always the underdog. Who cares? It's the same repetitive BS with Sami Zayn every single year. Enough. We then come back from a commercial break with Randy Orton yelling at Nick Aldis, demanding a match against Matt Cardona, as if we needed this. Nick brings up Matt's injured arm, but Randy reminds him that he was the one who injured it in the first place. Randy says if he doesn't get his match, the voice in his head are going to cause something bad to happen. Nick agrees to give Randy the match and tells him to cool off. Who cares about this segment too? Before the opening match starts, Lash Legend and Nia Jax come out to watch from ringside. Nia says there is still time to buy tickets for Raw, where she and Lash will face Bayley and Lyra Valkyria for the tag team titles. She says the fans will watch these wannabe contenders tonight, but they will get the spotlight because of them. Lash says people think the Bellas are hot, but tells the crowd to look at them instead. She also says Charlotte Flair and Bliss have a fake friendship. Who gives a damn about any of this? What are we, teenage girls? So we get to basically the end of this match. The Bellas hit a heart attack on Bliss for a near fall. Nikki kicks Flair and sends her to the floor, and Nikki and Flair end up near Lash and Nia at ringside. Bliss hits Brie with a punch, but Brie counters with an O'Connor roll. Bliss rolls through and gets a near fall. Lash then punches Bliss from the floor, allowing Brie Bella to get the win. 3 count, basically a roll up in a 3 count. After the match, Nia Jax and Lash Legend attack Nikki, Brie, Bliss, and Flair. Lash and Nia stand in the ring with Bliss, and Lash locks in a bear hug while Nia climbs to the turnbuckle. Lyra Valkyria, and Bayley run to the ring and go after Nia and Lash. Bayley and Lyra hit a double drop kick to Nia, then send Lash over the top rope to the floor. Flair knocks Brie down and says a few words to her before leaving the ring. I didn't care anything about this. I told you guys that they had to take Rhea Ripley and Io Sky out of the tag team division because they were neglecting the Women's World Championship and the WWE Women's title. They were neglecting both World Championships on both brands. And now that Rhea Ripley is back in the Women's World title scene because it needed her, especially because Bianca Belair is not here. So Rhea Ripley was the next best option, especially for her being on Raw going to SmackDown. This entire segment was boring. I told you guys at WrestleMania that it needs to be a multi-women's match. Lash Legend and Nia Jax versus the Bellas versus Bliss and Flair versus Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. But because Roxanne Perez is not back yet, for whatever reason, I don't know. Raquel Rodriguez, I don't know what they're doing with her. Now we're getting Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Which again, why? I don't know. And I just truly don't care. It's awful. It's going to be a multi-person match. At WrestleMania, they need to put the belts on the Bella Twins so they can get their final run like I've been saying. Give them the titles all the way up until SummerSlam, and after that, that could be their last great push in the company. That should be the outcome at WrestleMania. We then take a look at the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Backstage, Damian Priest walks in and sees R-Truth talking to a construction worker. Truth says he's building a clubhouse because Judgment Day is back. But Priest disagrees with him. Jelly Roll walks up and congratulates Priest. Truth mistakes Jelly Roll for Dominic and says Jelly looks different without his mustache. Rhea Ripley then shows up and says Wepa. Truth says that Mommy and Dom are back together. Jelly tells Rhea it's not his place to give advice, but says Jade is tough and mean, and she reminds her that she is Rhea Ripley. Truth then runs off chasing after who he thinks is Dominic Mysterio. Rhea looks confused and asks what the hell is going on. She then congratulates Priest on becoming tag team champions, that he has gold again. Priest says it was unexpected, but he believes that she will win the title at WrestleMania. He tells Rhea to take care of her business with Jade. We then go to commercial break. My overall thoughts about that backstage segment was it was a waste of time. It was basically filler, and this R-Truth memory loss thing is getting annoying now. I wanted R-Truth to have a serious run as Ron Killings before he leaves his company, before his contract is up, before it's all over with him in WWE. And so far, WWE did not capitalize on it. SmackDown Tag Team Division is so bad that Damian Priest and R-Truth are Tag Team Champions. And I really like Damian Priest and R-Truth. I like backstage segments to them together. Do I want them to be Tag Team Champions? No. You know who should be Tag Team Champions? The Lucha Brothers that I've been campaigning for the past couple of months. But no, Penta is IC champion and Rey Fenix is not even on the show. What was the point of bringing him into the company if he's not going to be on the show with his brother? The best tag team damn near in history at this point. I'm talking about in the ring. They are that good, ladies and gentlemen. They're top 10 all time if you want to put a number on it. The greatest tag team probably of this generation. And we're sitting here wasting Rey Fenix and Penta being on Raw with the IC title doing absolutely nothing. What is the point? You know what? You know what they can't do in this company? They can't book anything right, and that's going to basically play itself out later in tonight's show. Backstage, we see Bliss and Flair. They are confronted by Nikki and Brie Bella, who want to know what happened. Bliss says she got punched in the head. Flair tells Nikki and Brie to get to the back of the line. Nikki and Brie respond that it wasn't their fault and that they would do whatever it takes to be tag team champions. Good Lord, who gives a rat's ass about any of this? Make the match already. We keep sitting here trying to we are 22 days away and we don't even have the match yet. Make the damn match. Oh, but we have to wait on Monday Night Raw because Bayley and Lyra Valkyria have to get their shot at Lash Legend and Nia Jax. When they don't have to. Just make the match. Both of these titles go on both brands. Make it an interpromotional match that they used to do back in the day and call it a day. They botch everything. No disrespect because I actually like the Bella Twins. I like Charlotte Flair and Bliss together. And make Charlotte Flair likable. I like them. But this is ridiculous in how they're booking this and being argumentative backstage and all stuff like that. Like, what are we doing? Are we in high school or what? Write something better. Rhea Ripley then makes her way down to the ring. We take a look back at last week where Jade introduced 2 new allies, which was the dumbest thing of putting Meechin with her. It should have just been B-Fab. But they don't know what they're doing. This segment was awful. This entire segment was garbage. I cannot begin to tell you guys how god-awful, how bad this segment was between, not even Rhea Ripley. It wasn't Rhea Ripley's fault at all. It was not Rhea Ripley's fault at all. This was all on the producers. Whoever produced this segment should be fired. This was awful. And I'm going to tell you why it was awful. Rhea Ripley comes out and says she never never expected integrity from Jade Cargill. She then says she figured Jade would do anything to keep her hands clean, but she didn't expect B-Fab and Michin to be so desperate that they would join or to sink at Jade's level. Rhea says she doesn't care who she has to go through to get to WrestleMania. She says she comes dressed for the occasion and invites them to the ring. Jade's music hits and Jade walks out onto the stage with Michin and B-Fab, and this is where everything went to pure hell. Jay says Rhea looks confident for someone who got dropped last week. She says Michin and B-Fab position themselves and she isn't going to hold them back. This was the stupidest thing I have ever heard. First of all, it should have been B-Fab betraying Michin and putting B-Fab with Jade Cargill and not Michin after she's been going after her after she injured her. You could say, well, B-Fab is different because she doesn't have the same level of hatred towards Jade Cargill that Michin did. What the hell are we doing? And this promo was so awful because they were all talking at the same time. B-Fab says Rhea claimed that she would do anything to stop them. She calls Rhea a backstabber and says she isn't worried about sacrifice because she focused on the reward. Michin then says she's been grinding for years just like Rhea. Who gives a damn? You even said it. I have to say this every single week. Michin said, I do not connect with the crowd. We know you bust your ass for years. You just can't get over. You can't get over. B-Fab has a shot. You don't. Why doesn't Michin have a shot? Because his company did not book her creatively. She comes out with a kendo stick every single week with a bad entrance theme and think that we should care about her. And that they've been overlooked. No, you haven't. You was just in the Women's United States Championship picture. You got hurt. You were not overlooked. How many years have you been with this company? This company has not done nothing with you. If anybody's overlooking you, it's the backstage people who are writing this idiotic promo. This promo was stupid. She also said that Rhea has been the one getting all the attention. No duh. I just can't believe this promo. She says now they want their moment. Are you kidding me right now? Are you out of your rabbit ass mind? Whoever wrote this promo is an idiot. First of all, they want to have their moment. First of all, Rhea Ripley and all of the top players were on Monday Night Raw. They were all on Monday Night Raw. You could have had your moment being on this show because there was nothing on this show for you to do besides go after Jade Cargill. You know what happened? You got hurt. Do they not watch their own show? There was plenty of opportunity for Michin and B-Fab to have opportunities on this show. They didn't book you, so you're going to blame Rhea Ripley for taking the opportunity, because she's an outsider and she's not on SmackDown. Oh, she's a guest on SmackDown. That's what they said in this stupid-ass promo. I'm not blaming them for saying this. I'm blaming the people who ever told them to say it. This is stupid. This was the dumbest promo of the night. Sponsored by WWE SmackDown Creative Team, because they're that terrible. Oh, we want a shot. We want an opportunity. All of the top women went on Raw. Rhea Ripley was on Raw. Did you capitalize on the opportunity when Rhea Ripley was on Raw? What did you do? Nothing. And it's not even Michin's fault. It's the company's fault for making her come out and say this stupid-ass material. This was stupid. This entire company and backstage productive team is stupid. They don't watch their own show, but we got to come out here and suspend our disbelief, making it seem like that she never got an opportunity. In what world? B-Fab says Jade had a plan and they jumped at the opportunity. She says Jade has the gold and the power, and if Rhea wants to beat her up, she can step forward. Jade then says Rhea is just a guest on SmackDown, announced that B-Fab will step up to face her tonight. If you didn't see this from a mile away, I don't know what else you would have saw. Rhea then says she will teach B-Fab a lesson tonight and will teach Jade at WrestleMania that actions have consequences. She says Jade won't be able to protect B-Fab from her. We get B-Fab versus Rhea Ripley. Before the match fully gets going, Rhea kicks Michin on the floor and goes after Jade Cargill. B-Fab steps in, but Jade hits Rhea, calls the referee to call for the bell. The winner of this match by disqualification was Rhea Ripley. Why did we even have a match to start the match to begin with? Why not just have them go out there and jump her again? But we started a match and B-Fab automatically loses by disqualification because you know what? This just shows you how they don't know how to book a damn thing in this company. They suck. After the match, Rhea punches Jade and tries to hit a riptide, but Michin and B-Fab jump her. B-Fab hits Rhea with a boot, and Jade finishes the attack with a Jaded. I cared nothing about this, and at WrestleMania, I'm now, because I've been a fan of Jade Cargill. I've been pushing for Jade Cargill to get better. By the way, she can't cut a promo. I've been nothing but nice about Jade Cargill because I want her to develop. The same thing with other people in the business. To develop, I'm not going to put her down. I want to elevate everybody to be able, even if they're green. Having said that, I'm done now. I'm not defending this anymore. I'm not defending Jade Cargill. Not because I was being biased towards her, but I said, let's just continuously give her a chance. Give her a chance. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. And by the way, me saying this right now is still not her fault. It's the company's fault. They need to take this belt off of her immediately at WrestleMania. She should not retain at WrestleMania. And if she does, if I'm Rhea Ripley, I walk the hell out or I'll go back to Monday Night Raw. Rhea Ripley has to win at WrestleMania. No ifs and no buts about it. I'm tired of the company putting Jade Cargill in a position like this where she can't succeed. Enough. If you're not going to do right by Jade Cargill, which you haven't done, take the belt off of her. And they need to do that at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley needs to walk out as women's champion because this company just doesn't know how to book Jade Cargill. She should have started in NXT all along. But no. You guys want to jump out because you signed a former AEW wrestler, and this is the things that she gets for coming over here and trying her best. But instead, you guys were so stupid, just so stupid, that you didn't put her in NXT. For all of this time, she could have been training and getting better at cutting promos, and if not, give her a manager. But instead, you have her coming out here completely making a fool out of herself because you guys don't know what to do at your jobs. Congratulations, you played yourself. You're very, very stupid. We get backstage with The Miz and Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson tells The Miz that he's glad that he's in his corner. The Miz tells Kit Wilson he doesn't need him after what happened last week and says he's staying away from anything sharp and that he stepped in gum. So he's upset about the fact that he stepped in gum. Yeah, really nice, right? Kit Wilson brings up the idea of a curse, but Miz says there are no curses. He also mentions that he has he's in Pittsburgh, which the crowd starts booing. Again, cheap heat, who cares? Danhausen suddenly appears behind Kit Wilson, asking him, what does Kit have that he doesn't? Kit says he looks the part and tells Danhausen to take a look at himself. Danhausen cuts Kit off before he can call him toxic and says he is placing a curse on Kit Wilson. I cared nothing about this. Absolutely nothing about it. I don't judge Danhausen. If this is gimmick, this is gimmick. Do I care about Kit Wilson? Absolutely not. Do I care about The Miz at this point in juncture? No, I don't. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer who should be in WWE Hall of Fame? Yes. Do I care anything about him right now? No. We see footage from last week of the fight between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, focusing on both men falling off a metal structure in the parking lot. After that, we then head to the backstage where we see Drew McIntyre shown slowly walking into the building. He's asked about what happened. He says it comes down to stubbornness before addressing what Jacob did to him. Drew says he didn't come to fight tonight, but if Jacob wants to start something, he will finish it. He says Jacob took everything from him. When a man has nothing left to lose, that's when he's his most dangerous. I cared absolutely nothing about this particular promo from Drew McIntyre because it's the same thing every single week with him. They should have never put the WWE title on him and mess up the entire Cody Rhodes title reign, but that's for another day. Anyway, after that, we return to ringside as Jelly Roll makes his entrance down for his match. A replay is shown of the slam poetry segment between Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson that led to tonight's match. Jelly Roll stands in the ring and looks upward, seeking spiritual guidance before the match. Kit Wilson makes his entrance and grabs a microphone. He says he is defending his mother's honor tonight and reads a poem about Jelly Roll, ending with his catchphrase. Jelly responds by saying it's time to get it on and basically smacks his microphone, and the match begins. At the end of this match, Jelly Roll hits a choke slam, picking up the victory. I cared nothing about it. Jelly Roll celebrates his win and brings his son to ringside. The two then walk up the ramp together. Nice moment for Jelly Roll. Other than that, I didn't care about any of it. Jelly Roll didn't look bad at all. I just didn't care about it. Backstage, Matt Cardona is shown warming up for his match against Randy Orton, reminding everyone that he is ready. Nobody gives a damn. Up next, we then take a look back what happened between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. That was absolutely awful as well. Commentary talked about WrestleMania before showing a replay of Raw of CM Punk getting into a fight with the Usos and Roman Reigns. The segment ended with Punk being put through a table, but he said he doesn't need help. Again, I told you guys on Raw review show how I felt about that segment. It was absolutely terrible. Backstage, we get Solo Sikoa apologize to NXT for expecting too much from them. He says Roman Reigns would have never apologized. He basically got in Tama Tonga's face and said it to him. Tama Tonga's left alone when Carmelo Hayes walks up to him and asks Tama, is he finally going to challenge him for the United States Championship, or he has to get basically permission from Solo Sikoa to give him permission to be able to be in this match. After that, Carmelo then walks off. Shinsuke Nakamura approaches Tama next and gives him similar challenge before Tyler steps up into check for Tama Tonga. They leave as the show heads back to ringside. After that, Carmelo Hayes makes his way down to the ring, ready to issue a United States Championship Open Challenge. We head to ringside to see who will answer the challenge, and the crowd gives a big reaction as Sami Zayn makes his way down to the ring. Commentary talks about the full circle moment as Sami gets ready for the match. Then Before the match gets started, Trick Williams makes his entrance. The crowd reacts as Trick Williams walks down the ramp. It turns out he is only there to watch at ringside as the match officially is underway. After that, we get to the end of this match. Sami intercepts Melo in the corner and counters nothing but net into a blue thunder bomb for a near fall. At ringside, Trick Williams grabs the United States title and holds it out to Sami Zayn, almost daring him to use it. Sami refuses and steps onto the apron to confront Trick. As Sami turns his back, Hayes grabs him from behind, but Trick accidentally hits Hayes with a right hand instead. Sami Zayn hesitates for a moment, but then takes advantage of the opening. He then hits a hula kick and pins Hayes for the win. The winner of this match and new United States champion was Sami Zayn. Sami celebrates in the ring, and Trick Williams looks shocked and confused at ringside before walking to the back. Now, my overall thoughts about that segment was, this is what I'm talking about. Carmelo Hayes has bust his ass since beating Ian Dragunov. The United States Championship picture has been absolutely terrible on SmackDown, and Carmelo Hayes has been doing a nice job carrying this division on his back. And the fact that Sami Zayn does not have a WrestleMania match, you take the championship off of Sami Zayn after Carmelo Hayes was there, and you could have just said Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. I don't give a damn if they say, well, we're going to put Carmelo Hayes is going to be the third guy and making a multi-man match for the United States Championship at WrestleMania. No. I told you guys that Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams have a pass together in NXT. And instead of having Trick Williams just focus on Sami Zayn backstage, you should have had Trick Williams focus on Carmelo Hayes. It could have been Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams in a storyline they could have built up from their days in NXT going against each other, with Carmelo Hayes being the babyface this time and Trick Williams being the heel, and really play that up and give Carmelo Hayes the opportunity to be at WrestleMania. Now, if you're going to say, well, Carmelo Hayes might get the opportunity at WrestleMania, but it's going to be a triple threat match. Why does that have to be a triple threat match? Why does Sami Zayn have to be a part of this? Why does Sami Zayn have to be in this? This is why this company sucks. Sami Zayn does not have to be on WrestleMania every single year. Sami Zayn does not have to be on the show. You took the belt off of Carmelo Hayes and put it on Sami Zayn, and the crowd was booing it. Some people were cheering him, but the crowd was booing him. This was an awful decision, and they're going to have people in this community, oh my god, this is so great, Sami Zayn, United States Champion. No. You literally messed up an entire storyline. Now you're going to have a multi-man match instead of just saying, you know what, Carmelo Hayes, all the work that you've done for the United States Open Challenge, we're going to put you in a match. Trick Williams is getting over with the crowd. You guys are going to go one-on-one. Now you're putting Sami Zayn. Now you're going to people saying, well, it should be a triple threat match. Or make it a fatal four with Ian Dragunov. Are you out of your mind? This is what happens with hard work with Carmelo Hayes. This is what you do to Carmelo Hayes, who's been working hard, carrying this division on his back. We have to have Sami Zayn in the match because WWE feels some type of obligation to put Sami Zayn in at WrestleMania. This company sucks, and they wonder why their viewership continues to decline. This was an idiotic move. You had the story. The same way with Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor. Now he looks like an idiot running out there just smiling all the damn time, going up against Dominic Mysterio. You could have had Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania and put the IC title in a prominent spot for it to mean something. Now you have Penta being IC champion. What is he doing with the IC title? Nothing going into WrestleMania, and we're 22 days away. Now at WrestleMania, because Sami Zayn has won this match, spoiler alert, now we have Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams at WrestleMania when we did not need that. It could have been Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. Why did Sami Zayn need to be put in this match? This was the low light of the night for me. And we're not even halfway done with the night yet. It was a stupid decision. Again, the same way with the Intercontinental Championship, it was dumb to take the title off of Dominic Mysterio, not have Finn Balor come back as a demon and win that championship at WrestleMania, making it feel more important. What is Penta going to do? Nothing. What is Sami Zayn going to do at WrestleMania? Probably lose to Trick Williams at WrestleMania instead of having Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes after all of the hard work that Carmelo Hayes has done with that championship. It's literally the dumbest thing that they've done. This is the second to the third dumbest thing they've done going into WrestleMania. You want to know what the first dumb thing that they did was when they took the WWE Championship off Cody Rhodes and put it on Drew McIntyre. That was step number one after you knew that he had to go to do a movie. The step number two was taking the IC title off Dominic Mysterio, as I just stated before, and now taking the title off of Carmelo Hayes to put it on Sami Zayn. Because you want to get as much people in WrestleMania as possible. This is why WrestleMania needs to go back to being one night. This was disgusting. This is disgraceful. And this is an embarrassment to Carmelo Hayes after everything he's done with the United States Championship. It was stupid. After that, backstage, we get Jacob Fatu's asked about Drew McIntyre. He says he will speak to people live in Pittsburgh. Jacob Fatu heads to the ring and it gets And it looks like we're going to hear from him next as the show goes to commercial break. Some members of the Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at front row ringside. Who cares? Backstage, Sami Zayn walks through the alleyway celebrating back in the hallway. Oh my gosh, we won this championship. He asks Nick Aldis if he now want to have a WrestleMania match. Aldis confirms that he does, but tells Sami he will be defending the championship against Trick Williams. Sami is excited about that as the show continues. The dumbest decision that they made on SmackDown so far tonight. Back at ringside, Jacob Fatu makes his way down to the ring as footage to show again about the damage and his fight with Drew McIntyre. By the way, did Jacob Fatu look this hurt when he was at a baseball game? After he fell off of a steel podium in the backstage area, you had this guy feeding Jameis Winston chips at a baseball game on opening night on Netflix with Jey Uso sitting there. This is what this company does. This company doesn't even watch its own show, because if you knew better, you knew that Jacob Fatu fell off of a damn steps or a steel podium or whatever it was into tables that Drew McIntyre said in his backstage promo that they basically fell on tables or whatever the setup was, and you had him at a basketball game opening bags of chips and feeding it to a football quarterback in Jameis Winston. And then you wonder why people call you out for the booking decisions that you make and the idiocy that comes along with this. This was stupid. Jacob Fatu makes his way down to the ring. Jacob grabs a microphone and talks about his injuries he suffered, saying it all comes back to Drew McIntyre. He says Drew tried to take food off his kid's table by trying to take it out on him, and asks if Drew really thought what he did last week would keep him down. Jacob says he is still standing as long as he can breathe. He will keep coming after Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre then walks out to the stage with the microphone. He says he is the real victim in the situation and calls Jacob a criminal. Drew says Jacob stole his title from him, stole his WrestleMania moment, and took everything from him. He responds to Jacob's comment about family by saying the food Jacob talked about actually belongs to him. And he ends his message with harsh words directed at Jacob Fatu's family. I didn't care nothing about this. After that, Nick Aldis came out and stopped things from getting physical. He says neither man is in shape to fight tonight, but he says he looks at his watch for some reason and says they'll be ready to fight by April 18th at WrestleMania. Aldis announces that Drew McIntyre will face Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania, and that the match will be an unsanctioned match with no disqualification or countouts. The referee will be the only one there, to count to a fall or check for submission. Drew is pleased with the decision, and Jacob Fatu appears ready to fight as well. And by the way, I just want to go back and tell you guys that at WrestleMania last year, Drew McIntyre was in a Sin City street fight, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was a Sin City street fight between Drew McIntyre defeated Damian Priest 13 minutes and 55 seconds. And you wonder why this show is a complete embarrassment. You're putting Drew McIntyre in another street fight at WrestleMania. This time it's an unsanctioned match. Whatever, man. Whatever. I don't really care about this feud anymore. They've ruined it when they had the WWE Championship on Drew McIntyre. Let's just keep it 100. And by the way, Jacob Fatu, whatever you're doing with your promo style, stop it. Go back to how you were cutting promos before. Please. It is not genuine. Go back to how you was cutting promos when you was going at Solo Sikoa. It was way better at that particular point than it is now. After that, we get Matt Cardona's backstage. Joey Rhodes walks to him, basically apologized to Matt Cardona for Randy Orton attacking him, and this is the Randy Orton that we haven't seen before. The same thing that he said to Randy Orton last week. Blah, 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 we get it. After that, Matt Cardona continues to work out. When Aleister Black and Zelina Vega walk up, they basically talk about Randy Orton of the old and seemingly take shots at Cardona in the process. Mark Cardona is confused, and so am I. I don't understand why they continue to keep doing this. I don't know why. It's the same thing that Karrion Kross and Scarlett was doing with Sami Zayn and everybody else backstage. Was basically instigating. Awful, awful, awful. Let's move on. Elsewhere, Chelsea Green runs into Tiffany Stratton and tries to give her advice about facing Giulia, but Tiffany doesn't seem interested and basically tries to kick her wheelchair, but she doesn't. Chelsea Green says that she's rude and they basically roll away. Who gives a damn about any of that? After that, we get Giulia versus Tiffany Stratton. At the end of this match, Giulia stops a handspring attempt with a kick. Tiffany escapes a Northern Lights bomb and hits a Finlay slam. Tiffany goes to the turnbuckles, but Kiana James climbs to the ring steps to distract her. Giulia gets her knees up as Tiffany comes off the top and scores the pin. The winner of this match was Giulia. And by the way, I just wanted to say this too. This match was a complete botch fest. That's why I really skipped through it. This match was botched. A drop kick that Tiffany Stratton tried to hit, she completely missed. And Giulia basically sold the move last. This match was completely awful, and it was a botch fest match, and if anybody disagrees with me, they're lying to you because they're trying to protect these women. It does not matter if you're a man or woman. If you botch, it's going to be called out. This is absolutely an awful match. The match shouldn't even have taken place, but because this show needs filler and we had nothing else, they gave us this, and this was a complete and utter embarrassment for both of them. After the match, Kathy Kelly interviews Lara Valkyria and Bayley about why they were ringside earlier. Bayley says she wanted to show everyone who runs the tag team division. Lara says that they are the biggest threat to the tag titles, and Bayley as a division will be on notice once they win the titles. Congratulations, you will not be winning the championship at WrestleMania. If they do, it'll be a idiotic decision to make. Again, the Bella Twins need to win the championship. They need to make it that the Bella Twins win so they can get their final send-off. Bayley being put in this spot again at WrestleMania after her opportunity was taken last year. This is just basically idiotic, and they don't know how to book Bayley, so they're putting her in a tag team because for some reason they seemingly lost interest in Bayley in this company. And she has one of the worst interest music in this company's history. This company is a straight joke. Backstage, Randy Orton is shown on the phone telling someone on the other end that he will see them soon. We then return back from the break. We get a video package of Open Fame and Brock Lesnar. Commentary runs down the WrestleMania card, including new matches that have been added. We'll get to that at the end of the review. Randy Orton versus Matt Cardona. At the end of this match, Randy Orton is basically fighting him everywhere. Randy Orton basically hits RKO and covers him for the win. After the match, Randy Orton celebrates as his arm is raised in victory. At the same time, Cody Rhodes' tour bus is shown around at the building. And what did this company do when his tour bus showed up? You want to guess what they did? You don't know what they did? They went to a commercial break and picture-in-picture. Is this seriously what we're doing? During the picture-in-picture, Cody slowly walks through the backstage area, clearly upset about what Randy Orton did. Jelly Roll meets up with Cody Rhodes backstage. While back at ringside, Orton goes after security who are trying to get him out of the ring as he waits for Cody to arrive. The show then returns back from break. Cody Rhodes' music hits as he slowly makes his way down the ramp. Nick Aldis comes out with security trying to stop him, but Cody ignores the warning. He says, go straight to the ring. He says that he wants to talk to Randy Orton. Once Cody Rhodes gets inside the ring, Cody and Randy immediately start throwing punches. The fight spills out to the outside, and the two battle on the top of the announce table before the security finally pulls Cody away. Orton starts to back off, but then pulls security aside so he can get a few more shots in. Cody responds by dragging his WrestleMania opponent back in the ring. Officials rush in and separate them in the corner, basically putting Randy Orton in one corner, Cody Rhodes in another corner. After that, the crowd is stupid enough to buy into this, and by the way, is saying, let them fight, let them fight. Just as it looks like they are calming down, Cody breaks free and charges at Randy Orton again. Cody gets on the top of Randy Orton, on the top of the announce table before security pulls him back his apron. Cody goes back into the ring, and Randy throws him inside. Cody lands punches on Randy as security rushes again to separate them. Cody breaks free from security and hits Randy with more punches. Jelly Roll runs into the ring to try to calm Cody down, but Randy Orton breaks free and hits Jelly Roll with an RKO. Randy leaves the ring and heads to the back with a huge smile on his face after the show goes off the air. This entire segment was basically stupid. This entire segment was absolutely awful. They came in, they tried to fight, and had security pulling them apart. The same way, if you guys remember when Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, was being pulled apart by security, they did the same thing here tonight, and they kept breaking free, kept punching each other. I didn't want to see none of this. This did not get me any more excited. I told you, this is the match. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton is one match I was excited for, and Open Fame versus Brock Lesnar. Other than that, the rest of the show could basically do whatever they want with it, because I didn't care. And we're going to go over the 8 matches that are so far put on WrestleMania. But before we get to that, this last segment was absolutely terrible and awful. I didn't care anything about it. Randy Orton facing Matt Cardona in the main event of SmackDown in 2026 was not on my bucket list. I didn't want to see this match at all. They gave us a nothing match filler because they had nothing else to give us. Cody Rhodes comes at the end of the show. Are you kidding me? You bring Cody Rhodes out at the end of the show just for him to go out there and fight. He fights, and by the way, congratulations to WWE. They finally got something right by not having him be on the Pat McAfee show after I called them out last week for having them put him on the Pat McAfee show, and his first comments about being on that show, or what happened to Randy Orton, they basically canceled it. Good for them. It was stupid enough to begin with. And this last segment tonight was stupid. This entire segment was stupid. We don't see Cody Rhodes for the entire night. You think this is good? You think this company thinks that this is good booking? That we just don't have to see Cody Rhodes throughout the entire night? Instead of getting Cody Rhodes to come out there and cut a promo, we get him to go out there and basically fight and look like an idiot. And by the way, I've been saying this for months now. The security guard angle looks so fake. We all know that they're indie wrestlers just as security guards. This makes this show unwatchable and unbelievable. You're telling me to suspend my disbelief on something that I cannot suspend my disbelief on. This was terrible. Why? Because the stupid security guards were in the way. Why do you guys keep having security come out every single week? Do you know what the security guards coming out every single week signals? Every time the bloodline kept putting somebody through the announce table, that's what it signified. You keep using security as your angle and cops. It's annoying. Enough is enough. This segment was not good. I didn't care nothing about it. It didn't get me any more excited. The only thing I'm worried about or wanting to know is who is Randy Orton on the phone with, and that's it. They made Cody Rhodes look like a dumbass coming out there and basically fighting Randy Orton and having security pull him off, and then they just continuously go back and forth with each other. I'd rather have Cody Rhodes cut a promo than to watch this stupidness. This show tonight was not good at all. It was F-, and this is what they get for giving you bad creative on this show. This entire show was garbage. Even at the beginning of the show, Randy Orton cut his promo, which is a good thing to hear from Randy Orton. We could have heard from Cody Rhodes too, but instead we did not, and we got nothing. This show was abysmal, and it was awful tonight. Before I get done with this review, guys, I just want to go over the WrestleMania card with you guys. The first match is basically CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. I did care about this feud when it first started, but now as it continuously keeps going, I don't care anything about it. They completely lost me after these past 2 weeks with the Usos getting involved. I don't care anything about CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Let's just see how it goes. Stephanie Valkyrie versus Liv Morgan. I could care less about it. Stephanie Valkyrie, even though we couldn't understand the promo, they put it on the TV screen basically so we can read it. It was good on her end. I don't really care about Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day being a part of the championship match, so I don't really care about this feud. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton is one of the feuds that I'm looking forward to, even though tonight's segment was absolutely awful. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton is still something that I'm looking forward to, despite tonight's awful segment. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. It has been terrible so far. They need to put their belt on Rhea Ripley. I don't care nothing about it. Just put the belt on Rhea Ripley and get it off Jade Cargill at this particular point. Oba and Brock Lesnar, I'm interested in, as long as they let Brock Lesnar continuously get heat for the rest of the way up until WrestleMania. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. I have no interest and no care in the world for this match at all. It should not be happening. We don't deserve to have another match because, quite frankly, it's being repetitive. They've been wrestling each other since WrestlePalooza, and WrestlePalooza was a SHIT show. It was a terrible show. And this just goes to show you that they don't know how to book AJ Lee or Becky Lynch. We did not need this match again. After that, we get Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. I make my feelings clear about Sami Zayn. It should be Carmelo Hayes. It should not be a triple threat match if they're going there. Other than that, I don't care to see Sami Zayn on WrestleMania this year. I simply do not. It should be Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. And if they add him in a triple threat match, who gives a damn? It should be just Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. Ever since they took the title off of Drew McIntyre, they should never put it on Drew McIntyre. But now that they took the title off of him, we all know Jacob Fatu is probably going to win this match because Drew McIntyre is leaving and going to film a movie, even though they knew that this entire time, and they still decided to put the belt on Drew McIntyre. I have no interest in this match either. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about SmackDown tonight. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with me that it was a horrible show? Do you disagree with me and think that it was a great show? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please comment. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more great content. Make sure you watch the videos all the way through to help the channel continue to grow. Until next time, guys, see you real soon.